I am a big fan of tower defense games, but it can be hard to sort through the pile and determine which ones are actually worth playing and which ones are not. Sometimes you come across something really cool though, as I have today. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the charming and addicting Northend Tower Defense, a new early access game from Northend Games, who is also the sponsor of this video. Thank you so much to them, and if you wish to support an indie studio, make sure to check out Northend Tower Defense on Steam right now. So then, what exactly is Northend? Well, what we have here is something as rare as a World War II inspired tower defense game, where you are in charge of, you guessed it, the defense of your base. I just want to come out and say that I love the way this game looks. Like most tower defense games out there, Northend has a distinct cutesy and charming look to it, yet one that manages to convey what it wants to. It's very easy to look at, offers some really cool effects, and whether in a ruined field, a dangerous beach landing, a pinned down trench, or indeed defending the very heart of American civilization, Northend has really impressed me with its visuals. I particularly love the way gunfire just pours back and forth in something like a light show, and how explosions really feel impactful. With the gorgeous visuals out of the way, how does this thing even work? And how does it play? Well, as of the making of this video, Northend offers essentially two modes. There's no real campaign here yet, but you can either play a series of maps dedicated to the defense of your base, where you defend yourself for a set number of waves against the enemy, or you can play the hold the line mode. Let's examine skirmish battles first. These individual maps are essentially what you'd expect from any tower defense game. You have a base which needs defending, and the enemy will keep coming in waves from the other side of the map. So far so good, but what sets Northend apart from most other titles out there is the fact that the enemies aren't really funneled into a long line of tunnels or paths, and you are not actually erecting towers here. Instead, you're defending a long line of trenches, or indeed several such lines around the core, and the enemy always comes from the same sides for the duration of the game. The wave begins easily enough, but soon they'll last longer and offer more and more diverse enemies, which will demand even more from you. In this way, think of Northend as a kind of Tetris tower defense where enemy pieces are trying to ruin your bottom line, and you need to tear down those pieces apart to survive. So without the traditional pathways of tower defenses of old, how do we even defend ourselves effectively? Well, I know what you mean, and seeing a wide open area does seem kinda scary. But fret not, as Northend offers a variety of defenses for your pleasure. Here's the thing, it took me 3 tries to even finish the first level. I put my M1 carrying rifleman in the trenches, and the anti-vehicle guns in the back, hoping for salvation. But the enemy just kept coming, and even though I made it far, I did get overrun in the end. But after losing, I had 1 honor points, and with honor points, I could unlock new units for the next time I fought a battle. I could now unlock units like the machine gunner and the SMG, and with them, and some smart planning, I was finally able to take down the invaders in a bullet storm unlike any other. This is when Northend really opened up, as I with honor points was able to unlock more and more units after each game, which made the next one even more fun and unique. Each unit specializes in various ways of taking down enemies, you see, and I really felt the difference when I had the SMG units aiding the M1s. But more than that, every unit of a certain type can be upgraded during the course of battle. As with unlocking units, unlocking the ability to upgrade is done after each battle, depending on the experience gained by soldiers. This means that M1 units will be able to have their accuracy improved, and they can even be equipped with hand grenades. Machine guns, on the other hand, may gain increased health, while SMGs gain increased firing rates and range. The upgrades become available in-game once you earn enough XP for a level up, which works independently from the wave system. So let's go through this now. In a normal match, waves happen after each other. Waves aren't necessarily important outside of the fact that they happen, so just expect more and tougher enemies to show up with each wave. At the same time, an XP meter shows you how close you are to receiving rewards. You can, for example, get a cash infusion, some artillery help, or indeed upgrade existing units or unlock new ones, which are all massive strategic choices. I really like this upgrade system, but it would be nice to have some more information on how certain things work. For example, it's possible to upgrade the health of individual units and to recruit medics to patch them up, but you never know exactly how damaged a friendly unit is. And while I like the cash infusion upgrade, I think this feature is bugged, as I'm only getting 100 gold instead of the 200 like I'm supposed to. I would also like to be able to place my own paratrooper units, as if they don't land correctly, they automatically die. Other than that though, the upgrade system is designed well, it just needs a bit more polish. Soon, I was fielding snipers, bazooka men, and had medics running around, healing damaged units. And that's an important part of Northend. Units will actually take damage and die. Indeed, enemy units won't just rush towards your base, they'll also attack your units with their very own guns and bombs, either from the ground or the sky. This means that units you field will eventually have to be replaced, and relatively often depending on the situation. These attacks will increase, for example, and even though you might feel safe with your superior firepower, airstrikes might take you unawares, as these bombing raids can get really heavy. As I said, units will need to be replaced, and this is where we get to the aspect of the game that could use a revamp. As it stands right now, units are selected, placed on the map, and then deselected. This means that if you wish to place multiple similar units in a row, you have to continue selecting the same units over and over again. This is quite annoying, and even though it doesn't ruin the experience, a quality of life change where we could place multiples of the same unit would be appreciated here. I do suppose it works to click the corresponding button for the unit as well, but even this demands more work than it should. Further, being able to move the camera while paused, or moving it around with the mouse instead of the WSD keys would be nice, and I would really like to be able to zoom up and down for a more cinematic and customizable view of the battlefield. I will say it's very nice we can actually move the camera all over the place to begin with though, so kudos for that. In terms of different levels, I have to say I really like them all. They're simple but well designed, offering hiding spots for enemies like debris. You can even utilize special abilities, like barbed wire or mines to halt the enemy advance, and putting them in the right location is really important. I will say the bombing raid could be a lot more immediate though, as it is kind of slow and useless at the moment. The last two levels are perhaps the most visually interesting. In one, you're fighting two main sides, while two other sides are frequently visited by smaller skirmish parties. In the latter, you're attacked from all sides, but strangely enough, I found this to be the most easiest to win. And that's the thing I want the most out of Northend, I think, namely a difficulty slider. A higher difficulty could mean winning more honor points and experience, and would make the game that much more replayable. Second, there's the new Hold the Line mode, which is essentially an endless wave type mode, but where you're only allowed to use SMGs, bazookas, and mines against armored vehicles. It's a fun little mode which gets extremely hard towards the 27th round, but due to the lack of unit diversity here, I much prefer the other modes. In the end, Northend Tower Defense is a really addicting and charming tower defense game I'm glad is here. It's visually beautiful, tactically fun, and offers a really nice spin on the genre, in that it takes place in a more modern setting, while also giving the player a bit more freedom. It still requires a few quality of life updates and bug fixes before it becomes as good as it can though, and I would like to see even more features and level designs here. But again, this is a really fun game as it stands, and I highly recommend checking Northend Tower Defense out on Steam right now. Thank you so much for watching. I'm a big fan of tower defense games and really love finding new and awesome ones. I want to thank Northend Games once again for sponsoring this video, and if you enjoyed it, I really hope you leave a like, a comment, sub to the channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon or as a channel member. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!